Transparent bags are really in right now, and they have the added bonus of complying with all of the concert and stadium bag regulations. And I've done a couple of fun clear vinyl tutorials on my channel already, but this one is the easiest one yet. If you have a concert to go to tonight, you still have time to get this bag done. It's that easy. Hi, I'm Ashley, and I am back with another clear vinyl bag. Why, you ask? Why wouldn't I? These are so easy to make and so in right now that I want to make a new one for every event and every occasion. The one I'm showing you today is especially easy, and the design is both functional and fun. But before we get started, take a second to subscribe to my channel because I am bringing fun tutorials like this one to you each and every week. And while you're at it, you should go follow me on Instagram too. This week, I've been posting fun little tips on working with vinyl that will help you with this project and more. To make this bag, you need one 10.5 by 16.5 piece of 16 gauge vinyl, and you need a 10.5 by 1.5 piece for the strap. And for tips on how I easily measure out my vinyl, check out my other vinyl bag tutorials or my tutorial on measuring hacks. You also need some hemp cord like this or some 100% cotton yarn, a leather hole punch, and a needle. That's it. Since this clutch is all one piece, all I have done is fold my vinyl in thirds, and then I sewed these sides together where the bag comes together, and then the third part folds down to become the front flap. Before I sewed it together, I attached a strap to both sides, and that becomes my hand strap and my bag closure. And then I just cut this corresponding hole in the top flap so that I could pull the strap through and hold it. Now I'll show you a little more detail on how I assembled this clutch. I'm making my bag out of one solid piece of vinyl, so I'm going to end up folding it in thirds so that the bottom comes up and that's actually the bag part, and then when the top flap comes down, that's just the top flap to the purse. So that means I really only need to sew together the two sides up to where this meets the middle. So I don't need to have any holes punched in the top sides of my bag or the bottom or this middle flap here. I'm just gonna sew the sides together to start with. So I'm gonna just make sure it's folded correctly. And then I'm going to take my ruler and I will mark with my Sharpie at even increments going down. I'm going to do this evenly on the other side of my bag too, and then I'll show you how I'm going to punch it out. Now that I have all of my holes marked, I've just used a binder clip to hold my two sides together so that it doesn't shift around. You never want to use any kind of pins in vinyl because you'll leave a permanent mark, so binder clips work great. And then I can just come in with this leather hole punch. Super great investment. I use it all the time, not very expensive at all. So I'll just line it up with the mark I made and punch. And it will punch a little hole through both of my pieces. It's a lot easier to do it this way than to mark all the way down both sides and punch them separately. You might as well just punch it out together. So just keep going. And I'll go up both sides and then I'll show you what's next. And my last step before sewing my sides together is to create this place for my little hand strap. So my hand will go in here and hold my clutch shut when I'm walking around, and it's just a nice easy way to hold my clutch too. So what you need to do for that is cut out a strip of your vinyl, and for that I just took a ruler that I had that was about the width of the strap that I wanted to make, laid it on my piece of vinyl and traced both sides of it so that I could just easily have the shape I wanted without having to do very much measuring. And that's obviously the side of my bags. And then I need a hole in the top for my strap to be able to come through. I simply took the same ruler I used to measure out my piece and I measured in from one side and in from another side so that it would be even, and I drew around it and I cut out this little center piece. For me, it ended up being 4 3/4 inches wide, and it ended up being 1 3/4 inches tall. But if you're going to use your own ruler, you're going to want to double check those measurements, but that's the size of mine. And then I just kind of stuck my scissors in and cut that around. So now when I have my bag, it'll come through. Now I'm just gonna make sure then that this is even on my back part, because when I come through here, I'm gonna punch holes exactly where my holes underneath here are, and that way when I sew through, I'll be able to sew the strap in place as I go. Now, for the sewing part, so I got this really great like variegated hemp cord. It's kind of a rainbow variegation. It's Hildy and Joy. I got it from Joann Fabric, but any kind of like hemp cord or very thin twine would work. Just threaded it on a embroidery needle, and I'm going to use this to sew it together. So I'm going to start at the top here, and I'm just going to go up. Now, you could do any kind of stitch you wanted here. You could do sort of a whip stitch or a blanket stitch or whatever, but I am going to just do a straight stitch all the way down. It's going to come up in my very next hole. And then down, this is just regular old sewing. I just have my holes pre-drilled to make it a lot easier and even. And since it's vinyl, you can kind of see through it, and it makes a nice even edge all the way down. So I'm just gonna finish off going down this side and my other side, getting my straps as I go in, and I'll be done with that part of the bag. It's really easy. And here it is, my finished clear vinyl clutch. It's easy to carry, and in my opinion, a really cool design. This is one of my DIY bags that gets the most compliments when I'm out. If you liked this tutorial, and I hope you did, then give my video a like too. And hopefully you subscribe to my channel, in which case, I'll see you again soon. And here's a hot tip I'll leave you with for working with vinyl. The best way to get out any kinks or wrinkles in your vinyl is to work on it out in the sun. The heat of the sun naturally flattens it out, and working on a craft project while sitting in the pool is always a bonus, right?